Testing.
Over time. I appreciate that. Well, I'm gonna make my rounds and say hi to some people.
All right, well, good to see you. I was expecting him to be MC. Hi, Crystal. Very nice to meet you. Oh, absolutely. No, wait. Tell me who you are. I haven't had a chance to. I have a PR. I didn't get the vote,
Crystal
so
and I worked quite a bit together. Fantastic.
it's horrible. I'm like, he looks smart enough to be the mayor as far as how sharp he's put together, but I didn't get to vote because I'm not a citizen yet. So I tried to stay out of the fray of it. But yeah, actually, yeah, I think this year's my year. So
Very good, Selwyn Jacob. One,
such a pleasure to have you here.
thank you.
Welcome to your maybe first Black History celebration.
Okay.
Fantastic.
See, there goes my joke line that I want to say. It's ironical that we are welcoming the mayor to the
Perfect.
chambers,
It's
you know.
perfect.
But I gotta figure out if it's coming out the right place. It all has to lead in nicely, you know.
Well,
I
the
think
good
about
thing is, I can already get a sense he's light like Rendell. He's
Oh
got a
yeah.
sense of humor. It's
Oh
always
yeah,
good to not have
yeah,
a
yeah.
stuffy person, though. So.
Yeah. We'll have to talk to June and
Now the
ask
funny
her if
thing is,
she's
there's
okay.
no way we're gonna start on time.
Yeah, but
But,
6:05, that's okay.
Yeah, we'll make it up. Yeah, because it fills in quick, right? Like it's always it goes from like almost to full.
So this is your minute by minute count here? Or second?
No.
Oh,
So
oh.
what happened was I had to. They said they did the slides, and she said I sent her. They sent her an
Oh,
email,
I
and there was
see.
misspellings, and it well,
Okay,
things weren't
okay,
quite correct.
okay.
So she said, "How do I break it up so I can have the font really big?" And I said, "Well, this is how it reads when you sing it. Here are the breaths,
Okay, got
right?"
it.
But it didn't end up going this way. She did it in this mini slide, so it
Okay.
worked out. 6:05. I think we'll make it. So or can cut into the reception. That's okay. There's no point in starting to a not full house.
I'm going to say hello to Parker.
I mean, I don't want to breathe on it too bad, but I just want to like.
Test, test. Oh, it is not.
Because I just did. Hello, everyone. Perfect. Thank you. Oh, hi. Thank you.
I'm Darren. Where are you from? Well, background.
Oh, my mom's side of Trinidad, but
Look, I'm from Mauritius.
Hey.
I'm from Mauritius Islands.
My friend from Cameroon just went there, had nothing but good things to say.
Oh, Mauritius is amazing. It's an African island, obviously.
But she said the fusion.
It's amazing.
I can't wait to get there.
I feel more African than I do Indian, but because we left in our ancestors left India 6 generations ago. So when I am in Mauritius, I'm with my African friends, right? So we dance African dancing, we have African music. Maybe you should come to one of my Mauritian events.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we do. Our music is different.
Will you stay
I,
after?
I,
I'd love
I'm
to get
going to
your
be around.
contact
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
Well, you live in DC?
Oh, no, I'm here.
Okay. I obviously go to some community events. So send me an email.
Absolutely. So
Mauritius Island is African, and I'm new to the police department as far as a diversity officer goes. So I'm in diversity relations, and I've only just started 2 weeks ago. So children.
I'll give you a different mic.
I can be loud if I need to. Very close. Good evening, everyone. Does it get any louder? I just don't. I guess I'd be yelling, but sure, yeah. It just doesn't get loud.
Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let everyone know, we're going to get started in about 5 minutes till we get started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't think. It's a very good point.
Yeah, I'm telling the story.
Oh.
It's true.
It's just so quiet because we just want to invite people to the downstairs seating, tell them come in, take your seats, get started. But
Well, it's like a reunion, people haven't seen one another.
we should almost have a pre-reception and start it at 6:15 and then start reception at 7:15 and just let it be a 45-minute reception.
That's-
If anyone is interested, there's still seats downstairs on either side. You want to be up close? All right, good people of Vancouver, we're ready to get started, so let's get seated. We'll have a full reception to finish our love-in, reconnecting. Water under here, but I just kind of poured one for myself, but I poured us water for our seats too, because I need to usually refresh.
I'll put mine underneath.
All right, we're ready to start. Welcome to the 2019 City Hall kickoff celebration of Black History Month. Let's. While this weather is typical, thank you for braving it and coming out and not letting that be a reason to stay home. And good evening to those who are streaming. It's good to have you as our extended community to celebrate. It's great to be back in the chamber celebrating this occasion. My name is Crystal Adams Dauphiné, and it's my pleasure to co-host these proceedings with Selwyn Jacob.
Thank you very much, Crystal. You and the rest of the organizing committee always do a great job of putting on this event. I was on the organizing committee for this event when it was first started about 9 years ago. And having the Mayor of Vancouver do a proclamation recognizing Black History Month in Vancouver is an important part of this celebration here today.
We're 9 years and we're going strong. As we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the unceded homelands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, and we are honored to be here. I am personally grateful for their diligent stewardship of this beautiful place that we call home, where we work, we play, and we fellowship. One of the things I love the most about this event every year is the energy everyone brings. So let's take that beautiful energy and let's welcome Tonye Aganaba. I've tried so hard to get that right, but she will correct me. Aganaba, I believe. And she's going to join us in singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Just a quick note on Lift Every Voice and Sing. It was first performed as a poem in 1900. It was written in 1899, actually. And it was set to music and adopted as the national Black anthem in the States. And I hope we can bring that tradition north as well. And we still continue to sing it today with much pride and much love. And I will say that I see, and I think many see this song as an acknowledgement of the resilience of the global African diasporic community that we have represented in here today. So please feel free to sing along.
Tonya is a singer-songwriter born in London, England, to a Nigerian father and a Zimbabwean mother. She moved to Canada in her teens and started a career in music at age 17. Her style can be described as soul/neo-folk/hip-hop. In 2015, Tonya's career was interrupted by multiple sclerosis diagnosis. For the past 4 years, she has been working on healing and finding herself again. In addition to taking her music to traditional venues, she's also going into schools, community centers, hospitals, and any place where her music can heal, connect, and make a difference. Please welcome once again, Tonya.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. This is my second time performing in these very special chambers, although the last time it was for International Women's Day, so I don't really identify much as a woman, but I definitely identify as a Black person. Yes. Hell yeah. I didn't understand the significance of this song until I was asked to sing it because I'm not African American. So thank you for explaining to everyone what the significance of this song is, because I was going to do it myself. You did my job for me, I like that. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to be the star of this song because it's not about me. So if everybody can focus their attention on the lyrics, if you know the song, please feel free to sing along. Okay? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till the victory is won. You guys are doing great. Still in the road we trod, bid listening rod felt in the day that hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat had not our weary feet come to the place on which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading the path through the blood of the slaughtered, and from the gloomy past till then we stand at last, where the white gleam of a star is cast. One more verse, here we go. God of weary years, God of a silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who has by thy might led us unto the light, keep us forever in path we pray. Let our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Tanya. Very, very moving, and yeah, makes me feel home. So thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure to call upon Mayor Kennedy to read the official Black History Month proclamation. In addition to proclaiming that February is Black History Month in the city of Vancouver, the mayor will also be presenting the proclamation to 3 members of the community in recognition of their achievements as leaders who empower others through their community service.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. Try to get the mic snap to attention. Great. Thank you, Selwyn and Crystal. It's great to have you emceeing tonight. And I don't know about you, but that song gave me goosebumps. So that was some way to kick off the evening. Would, of course, like to acknowledge that we're on unceded Coast Salish territories, the Squamish, the Musqueam, and the Tsleil-Waututh, and we thank them for their generosity and look forward to working with them in building our great city. I'd like to acknowledge the elected officials that are here this evening. We have from City Council, we have Councillor Rebecca Bly, Councillor Christine Boyle, Councillor Adrian Carr, Councillor Melissa DeGenova, Councillor Lisa Dominato, Councillor Pete Fry, Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young, Councillor Jean Swanson, and Councillor Michael Weeb. All right. There they are over here. Thanks. But we're not done. We have Park Board commissioners too. We have Commissioner Dave Demers, Stuart McKinnon, Camille Dumont, Gwen Griesbeck, and Tricia Barker over here as well. So thank you very much for coming. And we're still not done. We have school board trustees, Lois Chan Pedley, Janet Fraser, Oliver Hanson, and Barb Parrott. So thank you for coming this evening. Special guests in the evening tonight, we have the U.S. Consul General, Catherine Denani, and Honorary Consul of Ghana, George Pipra. They're here tonight. Thank you for coming. Also in attendance is Charlene Knight, the 2018 City of Vancouver Book Award winner. Yeah. For her book, Dear Current Occupant. Dear Current Occupant is a creative nonfiction memoir about home and belonging set in East Vancouver during the 80s and 90s. The 2018 Book Award jury was taken by the author's honest and powerful writing of her childhood precariously housed in 20 different homes. Now, apparently there's a new book coming out that we're all waiting for, which is Junie, which is a historical novel set in Vancouver's Hogan's Alley, which we're all on everybody's lips, I think. And it's set to be published next year. So we're looking forward to this. For the 9th year in a row, Vancouver City Council has recognized Black History Month. And I'd really like to thank the members of the organizing committee, because we know this is a lot of work to get here, but all the other activities through the year. We have Karen Amaya, Mabret Bayani, Crystal Adam Duffini, Marcus Marshall, Parker Johnson, and Dr. Handel Wright. So let's have a round of applause. Thank you. And thank you so much for your contributions to the Northeast Falls Creek Area Plan. And I'd like to hear it for our staff that do a fantastic job. We have our city manager here tonight, Sada Johnson. But you know, these events are take an enormous amount of work, and every time I just feel so privileged to represent the city, because our staff do an amazing job. Before I continue with the reading of the proclamation and the presenting of the awards, or the copies of those, I want to bring some light on one of the most important reasons that we're gathered here tonight. We have much to celebrate in this city, as diverse as ours. I mean, I do talk about it all the time with foreign dignitaries that come to visit, about how we work well together with way over 100 languages spoken here and all kinds of people coming from all around the planet. But we have lots to celebrate, but we still have to recognize the racism that exists in Vancouver, and particularly anti-Black racism. Even in the short time since I took office, I've seen incidences of hate speech right here outside the City Hall, threats of racialized violence against Black people, especially youth. Now, I know our staff is constantly working to better understand the impacts of racism and unconscious bias faced by Black communities, but this month gives us special opportunity to think more deeply about these issues and how we can collectively address them as a city. So I'm really proud of the work that we do here at City Hall, the staff do, how we talk about it in council and try to take action, how we've done in the past and what we're going to continue to do in a variety of areas. The staff in particular, the planning process for Hogan's Alley, building temporary modular housing, the Park Board's community consultations for Northeast Falls Creek, and all these efforts help support different parts of Vancouver's Black community. I'm also proud that city departments will be working together to develop an equity framework to support those impacted by barriers to full participation in society. So while I ask everyone tonight to keep in mind all the hard work we still need to do, tonight is also about celebrating Black History Month. And by we want to acknowledge 3 community leaders who are empowering others to have a voice in our community in terms of development, political activism, and personal wellness. So I'd now like to invite all 3 recipients to come forward and stand with me while I read the proclamation. And as they come forward, I'll read their biographies. Charmaine Crooks, if you could come forward, thank you. Charmaine is a 5-time Canadian Olympian, a member of the Order of Canada, and dedicated advocate for sport who serves on a variety of boards focusing on technology, sport, wellness, and community. Charmaine was one of the founding board members of the 2010 Olympic Winter and Paralympic Winter Games, and has been inducted into both the BC Sport Hall of Fame and the Athletics Canada Hall of Fame. It's pretty amazing. Dr. June Francis. Dr. Francis is chair of the Hogan's Alley Society, dedicated to delivering the Northeast Falls Creek Area Plan for the Black community. Dr. Francis is also director of the Institute for Diaspora Research and Engagement, associate professor at BD School of Business, and co-founder of the Co-Laboratorio project at SFU, where her work involves strengthening diaspora communities by encouraging collaboration, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Roger Jones. Yeah. Also known as the Ability Guy, is a recognized expert on disability issues and an advocate for accessible and inclusive cities. In his work, Roger has facilitated award-winning diversity seminars for the federal government, established the Susan Marshall Fighting Spirit Award for spinal cord injury survivors, and is the founder of and past chair of the Black Cultural Association of BC. So thank you very much. Let's hear it for our distinguished colleagues. So I'm now going to read the proclamation and make it all official. Here we go. So, proclamation. Whereas the United Nations General Assembly has named 2010 to 2020 as the decade of the the African diaspora, and the African Union of the European Union and the European Union have identified 2010 to 2020 as the decade of African women. And whereas people of African descent have been part of Canada since the early 1600s, prior to the abolition of slavery in 1834, and have been part of British Columbia's history since at least 1858, and this resilient community community facing the injustices of anti-Black racism and the colonization continues to contribute to the vibrant cultural, economical, political, and social development of the province. And whereas the City of Vancouver has approved the Northeast Falls Creek Area Plan on February 13, 2018, wherein a commitment was made to, quote, work with the Hogan's Alley Society to establish the long-term involvement and investment of the Black community in the future life of the Hogan's Alley block through the exploration of land trusts, long-term leases, or other arrangements as appropriate. And whereas people in the City of Vancouver celebrate Black History Month by recognizing the many contributions of people of African heritage, multiple generations of Black communities, and the new Canadians from the African diaspora, and whereas we gather in the Council chamber today to recognize the achievements of Charmaine Crooks, Dr. June Francis, and Roger Jones for their significant community contributions in the area of sport, education, inclusion, and accessibility. Now, therefore, I, Kennedy Stewart, Mayor of the City of Vancouver, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2019 as Black History Month.
Are we good with photo ops? I want to make sure everybody's had their moment. Okay. Nope, we're good. Okay, well, thank you. The mayor is obviously much taller than myself. Well, I want to thank everyone who's up here for your amazing work and contributions to the community, and I think obviously the perforation at large of what your work does for Canada and probably the world. So thank you very much for that. We're going to hear from each individual person. Better? Perfect. I think I'm loud, but apparently not. We want to hear from each individual person. So Charmaine, we'll begin with you, and June and Roger, we will invite you back up if that's all right. And thank you, Mayor, for that very moving statement. We appreciate your willingness and openness to work with our community to continue the groundwork that has been laid thus far. Thank you.
I just want to break from formalities here and say my personal impression of Charmaine Crooks from when she was on the Canadian relay team, the 4x400, and a dominant force on the track. And I remember I'd always be looking at the Olympics. Unfortunately, they came ever so often, once every 4 years. And the one constant in the 16 years that I watched, Charmaine Crooks was always on that relay team. And I can tell by her long stride. And she's coming around the bend. And most cases, the Canadian team is not necessarily in front, probably the Jamaicans or the Americans. But Charmaine would always make sure that when she passed that baton, Canada was ahead. And so I think she has made much strides on the track, and now she's making bigger strides in the community. Welcome, Charmaine.
Thank you very much, Selma and Crystal, for your amazing moderation today. Aren't they amazing? Thank you both so much for representing so much. You know, I just feel so embraced in this moment, and I just think of my late great parents, and they are looking and they are watching today, and I stand here because of them, because they took 9 children from Jamaica to come to Canada to make a difference, to make an impact. So you talk about that diaspora, you talk about, you know, how new immigrants come to Canada and make an impact. I thank my parents for that, and this is really all about them today. I just want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this honor that you have bestowed on myself and my other 2 amazing recipients today. Thank you to Council and Parks Board and to all the members of the committee and the community who is here to share this special time with us. I see lots of volunteers as well that I get to work with in the community who are here today. So thank you so much. And thank you for acknowledging the impact that we are making. And you know, you introduced me as being part of a team, and we do not do what we do without a team. We cannot impact our community without a team. And those of us who are raised in the Black community know how important it is to give, right? How important it is to give, because our family always teaches us from day one, we give because we get so much. And so much of it is just the opportunity to make a difference, and I've been blessed by that. And today really, and this month, is about recognition. It's also about reflection, and in our community there has been so many who have followed and so many who I have been inspired by because of their firsts. And I think of 2 in particular. I think of Rosemary Brown and the impact that she had, absolutely. And I think of a fellow athletics superstar. I think of Barbara Howard, who was the very first Black woman to ever make any team, and she made the track team. So I am proud and honored that she was a true inspiration to me, as was Harry Jerome, and absolutely, and the family that still continues to impact the community across the country. Through sport, I have learned so much. Through sport, I have had the chance to do so much for this community, but once again, it has always been with a team. So today we reflect on the first, but it's not about being the first, it's about embracing more and making sure that that podium, there are many to stand upon. Sport has given me a lot of leadership skills, motivation, inspiration, working hard, but it's also given me another thing. It's about gratitude. It's about being thankful. And every leader that we are honoring today and that we will be reflected on this month always comes back to gratitude, right? We all know about that, particularly in the Black community. You always got to thank that person. And so I thank you all for being here with us today on this journey. And I hope that the next month of Black History Month is not the end. It is just the start of more to be done, more to be honored. And I applaud what's happening in Hogan's Alley. My goodness, that is incredible. And so let's listen now to our next recipients. And I just leave you with one thing. 3 words my parents always taught me: never give up. If we want to stand up for something, we want to be proud of who we are, but we never give up. We keep working just as we do in sports. So thank you all for being here. And to you young people, there's a lot ahead, and we're with you. And I hope that these young people will also take the inspiration of this month ahead. Thank you once again, Mayor and Council, for this honor.
I'm sorry, Mayor Stewart. It was my intention to let you know you could be seated. You- But if you feel to stand, June, well, first, Charmaine, thank you so much. Feel free to remain with the group or you can be seated as well. But thank you so much for your words and for your contributions. Yeah, I like this. I like this. Let's do something different this year. Yeah. All right. Well, Dr. June Francis, next on deck.
I got to say a few words about my good friend, Dr. Francis, whom I would normally call June. And I got to know June because she and a group of women had a book club called Sisters with Books. And of course, I couldn't become a member of that club. But in some cases, whenever the meeting was held at a certain location, they would invite the brothers or some of the brothers. So that was interesting. I didn't go to all of them. But at one of those sessions, I specifically remember this story, and June was the one who told it. Now, June lives in an area on the west side of Vancouver, and I'm not too far from her. But she said when she came to Vancouver and she was looking for a house, the real estate agent told her about this house that was close to a certain district. But one of the markers for the location is that there was a famous Vancouver paddy shop. It was just about 2 blocks from where June's house was. She said she promptly placed the offer and bought the house because of its vicinity to the patty shop, thereby bringing a new meaning to the real estate expression. It's all about location, location, location. Thank you, June. But it's more than just location because June has a very wide and varied career. And so I'd let her tell her how she got from that location to these other locations. June.
It's all about the location in the end, right? And the location I'm going to talk a little bit about is one that's not far away from here, called Hogan's Alley. And again, it's location, location, location. Thank you for that segue. I want to just tell you what an absolute honor is not the good word. It's just a thrill. It fills my heart with joy. Maybe that I need to express myself. I can't think of a more important honor that I could get, but one that recognizes me in Black History Month. I can't think of one. And so I want to thank everyone who is here, the Black community, the wider community who has come to support us. I know that there are people in this room who made Black History Month happen, and they're the giants in our community who had the foresight. And I know the number of people who have worked on the committees over the years to keep this going. And I really want to thank you for that foresight. I want to thank the mayor and city councilors, Parks Board, trustees, and I know I'm missing others as well, City of Vancouver staff, who are here as well to show support for us. Absolutely critical. I want to thank I can't imagine being on a stage with more esteemed people as I am today. So I want to thank our fellow honorees. And I wanted to just say, you know, when Charmaine was here, I was listening to how fast she ran. And I was reminded again of something you pointed out, how we have been running so long from so much. And so we know how to run, don't we? I also want to thank my colleagues from the Hogan's Alley Working Group and the Hogan's Alley Society and the wider community that has been, Black community that has been working so hard over the years. It's been years and years of toil that has brought us to this day. And I must say that there are people who have worked in obscurity. We don't know their names, but that's the history of our people, but it doesn't make them any less honored and regarded. Recently, I had my DNA done. This is not something I wanted to do because I thought, this is silly. I know my history. Why would I do that? And my son, I have a son who insisted that I leave it at least for posterity. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I spat into the cup, sent it off, and thought no more of it. I thought it would be a totally irrelevant fact in my life. But when it came back and I saw that my DNA reflected truly a history I did not know. Because for people like me, our history was never recorded. We weren't valuable enough to record it. But stamped in my DNA was my history. And I saw places like Cameroon, Senegal, Togo, Nigeria. And I could go on. I saw the Southern Africa. And what is that story about? Ghana, Congo, among others, Gambia. And these are stamped in my DNA because it tells a story of people who survived. If you think about this, these are people who were taken across the Atlantic. Taken is not a good word. Forced under horrible conditions. And they went across the Atlantic and they survived. And then they endured 250 years of slavery and they survived. And then they have since then survived years of oppression and exclusion and they survived. So that I can stand here and you can stand there. So who am I to give up? How dare me? And so stamped in my DNA is a history of survival against the odds. We were not to survive. You know, many times I meet people in Canada, and this is not going to be a denigration of Canada, but just to give us a common history so that we can walk forward with. And the mayor, I appreciate your acknowledging anti-Black racism because in the year as recently as 1911, the Prime Minister, Wilfrid Laurier, and his cabinet approved an order in council banning Black people from entering Canada. And that order in council I won't read it in the interest of time, but I want you to know in 1911, for 1 year, because we were not suitable for the temperature and for the society. I draw this scholarship from my colleagues, Stephanie Allen, Adam Rudder, Wade Compton, and many others who have written on this. So I just want to acknowledge them as I draw your attention to just bring us now to Vancouver. As we stand here in Black History Month, we have to remember the pioneers who came to this community. Their DNA is stamped in the history of Hogan's Alley. You see, because Black people came to this city and they set up a community. In the words of Mrs. Healy, she said, who lived there, she moved to Vancouver in 1944. When I came here, this district was Negroes from Main Street to Campbell Avenue. Like you see the Chinese here now, whole apartment blocks that are full of Blacks. Where are we? Where are they? That's the question. What happened to them? These were people's lives. Rosa Pryor moved to Vancouver in 1917 from the US, and she established Mrs. Pryor's Chicken Inn. All right? And that lasted for 42 years. And every Black woman, it is said, who was in the city worked in that shop one time or another. And we taught Nora Henricks, who will be honored, there was a press release honoring her today. And I will get, because her name will be stamped on the temporary Modeler House. She will be the name that's stamped there. And this was because the descendants of Hoganzali, some of whom are here, honored her, wanted to honor her in that way, because she was responsible for establishing the Fountain Chapel in Hoganzali. 800 people were on the rolls of that church. These lives, this community, these were people. They lived here, they worked here, they loved here, they had their community of mutual support. What happened? What happened to them? There is a symbol in Vancouver that reminds us of what happened to them, and it is the Georgia Street Viaduct. It's a monument to our oppression, because that monument was what displaced us. The city of Vancouver, the way many cities did not value us, sought us and targeted us to be displaced. What did they rob from us? This is not an accident, it was an intentional act. What did they rob from us? They robbed from us the heart of a community. They robbed their lives. They robbed subsequent lives. So when people come here, they say, where are the Black Vancouverites? Because we're fragmented and isolated. Because we're over-policed and over-surveillance. Because we have lacked what would have been a thriving economic, social, remember the economic, because the greatest transfer of wealth in North America is from real estate, from owning business. All of that was robbed from us. So I say to you today, we are in a privileged situation because this city council has an unprecedented opportunity. They can take down the mantle of oppression. They can bring that monument down, and they can replace it, as is committed in the Northeast Falls Creek Plan, has already been committed to return it to the stewardship of the Black community. It will be for us, but it will be from us. Because when we can come back into the city with our authentic selves, when we can return with our economic, our health and wealth, our culture, and when we can be full citizens, when we can be embraced in the city, we will all be the diversity that you so hunger for. And as we take, that viaduct is stained. It has to come down. And I just say that there are some things we can do, and I'm out of time, I know. Because I applaud the city for having the courage to embed cultural redress. But there are steps ahead. But I applaud you because I applaud a city that has the courage to do that. So join me in applauding the city. And I know we all agree that the city's proclamation of Black History Month will remain tokenism unless there is follow-through. And there will be no follow-through without the direct stewardship of the Black community. There will be no follow-through without our stewardship. We will no longer be displaced. And so I thank you for being here, all of you. I thank you for joining together with us to make this the city we all want. I know those viaducts represent something we want to move on from. And I know you join me in wanting them down. And I can assure you that when we bring our authentic self to the city of Vancouver, my gosh, what a city. What a city.
If only we had time, because that's one of those statements where you just want to let it rest. But what I will say, take this moment, digest what you've heard, think about where you stand in that charge. If you're in a place where you're actively working with and for this community, again, I thank you. We all thank you. If you're not, come find your place. Many, many hands make light work, so come find your place. For us, by us, but with everybody. That is the only way. So, last but not least, as I thank Dr. June, thank you, Dr. Francis. I'm so used to calling her June. Love and love. Roger, please come tell us more of your contributions in leadership, empowerment, and in community. Because I personally, as a designer who often works with accessibility codes, was excited to learn more about you and to see the impact you've made, because I don't often see brown faces in my profession. And I'm glad to know that before we can build anything, we must check accessibility and the needs, and to know that there's a person who looks like me. I am encouraged that there's a person who looks like me who is working to make that possible for many. I mean, I'm honored, so.
Push it right down. Thank you. Wow. Go closer. Okay. I have 7 older sisters, and I've spent my life trying to one-up them. And here, once again, I want to thank you for making me follow 2 strong black women, which I've been doing. So I will be brief. Mayor Stewart, council members, friends, family, fellow recipients, I just want to thank you very much for honoring me today and the few things that I've managed to do in comparison to these ladies here. I just want to say that life is bittersweet. Last night, I was in a meeting with some strong young black men in Burnaby, and I was almost crying when they told me about the struggles that they're facing here in Vancouver today in 2019. But on the other hand, I was so proud when they talked about the things that they were doing to improve their lives and their desire to help others in the black community, in particular, the youth. I felt such a feeling of pride, because for a while, I was starting to, I don't know, get down a bit about our situation here. And then I come here today and I look around the room and I see all these beautiful black faces gathered around me, and I'm overwhelmed because some of the people are obviously here to honor me. And but on the other hand, we all know that if we come back to these chambers on another day and another month, it's going to be whiter than the snow back east right now. So, you know, for me, Black History Month is a time to share our culture and our history, but I also feel that it's a time that we should reflect on our status here as people in this land, struggles that we're facing. It's not just in Trump land, it's here in Vancouver. We all try to do our part. You know, some of us something small, others are doing obviously a lot more. But I feel that we might want to look to the wisdom and the words of some of those who came before us. And I think in particular of one of my idols, who was Malcolm X. And Malcolm X said, if you don't stand for something, then you're going to fall for anything. Hopefully, I have been able to, in my own small way, stand for something that is going to be of benefit to our community. I think that we have to start and support our youth more. Some of you in the room, I'm sure, remember something that was called the Junior Black Achievement Awards. Can I see a hand? How many of you remember that? I can see some hands here. It was a program that honored our youth. And I was pleased to be able to, through my company, to sponsor that for a few years and was involved for many years. And somehow we dropped the ball. And I still meet young people on the streets today who come up to me and say, Junior Black Achievement Awards was the one time that I had an opportunity to meet other young people from our community. We had something to work towards. We felt this great sense of pride. What happened to it? And I don't have an answer. I don't know. For some reason, we just stopped honoring our young people. So recently I've been talking to many people in our community, trying to see if we can't revive something along the lines of the Junior Black Achievement Awards. I'm proud to be able to say that I have got groups together now, and they're going to do that. So if any of you are interested in So if any of you are interested in contributing in whatever way, whether that's financial or otherwise, please be sure to let me know, because the youth are our future. So I just want to thank you. I said I would be brief. Those of you who know me know that that's a surprise. Thank you very much for this honor. I'm really speechless. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Roger. You may all return to your seats. It's my pleasure right now to invite Tonya for another song.
Party people, how you doing? I would like to preface this next performance by saying I know this song like the back of my hand, so I won't make any mistakes. And I also want to preface this performance by saying this is the most group of Black people I've seen in Vancouver, and we're not at a dance party. You know, like, and we're appropriately dressed, and I'm really proud that I wore a full outfit. I also want to say that I just got evicted from Union Street, Hogan's Alley. So for me, hearing the conversations that are happening right now is bittersweet hope, because I still want to live there. But it brings me so much hope. I've watched that building come up. I walk down Union Street every single day, and I see zero Black people. I am the only Black person on my block, and I just got evicted. Please, please bring Black people back into the city, because we look sad from the outside. I'm just saying, the house that I lived in was a bed and breakfast. I ran a bed and breakfast. Hundreds of people come through my doors, and they all say, "You're the only Black guy I've seen." This gives me hope. This song is called It Ain't Easy, and it's about being the only Black guy everywhere I go. Except here. Well, I'm sick of second guessing, tired of all the stress. I'm taking back the reins. I refuse to do anything less. Got these headers on my back. Tell me what is up with that. I ain't trying to cause a pain. Tell me why won't you explain? It ain't easy living on my own. Said it ain't easy, just to let it go. I said it ain't easy, no, no. Been a long time coming, yeah. I was seeing all the signs. Been so long since I've been happy. Gotta step back, press and rewind. I was losing my mind, sleep with these birds surrounding me. I pray my soul to keep from these ghosts surrounding me. It ain't easy, you're being on my own. It ain't easy, just let it go. It ain't easy, no, no. Well, I'm tired of the fighting. Well, I just want my life back. You can say just what you like, what you like, what you like, but it's like that. I'm feeling a new day, yeah. I won't be shaken, won't be swayed, well, it's like that. No, 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 no. Whoa, 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 easy, yeah. It ain't easy, no, no. It ain't easy being out here on my own. Just letting it go, no, no. Well, I'm tired of the fighting. Well, I just want my life back. You can say just what you like, what you like, what you like, but it's like that. I'm feeling a new day, yeah. I won't be shaken, won't be swayed, well, it's like that. No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. No, no. It ain't easy being out here on my own. I just let it go. No, no. Thank you very much, Vancouver. Keep it black.
Well, all right. Well, call me for coffee. You never have to be alone again. We need to make sure we're all there for each other. And because I moved here 6 years ago, and that was a feeling, but I too am encouraged because I go from seeing a black person every couple days to multiple times a day. So downtown at that. So progress is good. All right. Well, now, thank you, Tonye. I'd like to call up Mayor Stewart and Maurice Earl from Canada Post to unveil this year's commemorative Black History stamp. This is one of our special moments of the year.
As I do every year, hello, family. No, 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 no. Yeah, no. Hello, family. Much better. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. Yes, it's not a dance, but if you want to, go ahead. Right? I'm very honored to be here. Now, I'm going to say something. Hopefully, I don't make nobody mad. Yeah, especially you. Yeah, I see you looking at me like that, and I'm a little worried. Now, I know twice it's been said it's 9 years, right? But Canada Post's been doing this here in Vancouver for 10. Sigh. The first year was actually at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre. And do you know, I'm going to test your history now, test of your memory. Do you know who they honored? That's one of them, Rosemary Brown. So I'm glad I heard that name today. But who else? Whenever I hear silence, I get the Jeopardy song in my head. Anyways, it was, actually, do I know who it was? Abraham Shadd. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, exactly. I remember you were there. You were there. So I'm glad to be here, or Canada Post is glad to be doing this for 10 years. Okay? And I'm always honored. Myself and my wife usually take turns, but she's actually doing another Black History stamp unveil right now. So you know what that says? It's spreading. No, it's spreading. I can't wait to see every city do this. All right? Let me begin. So thank you for inviting Canada Post out to this very special event tonight. Canada Post is proud to be one of Canada's storytellers. Through our stamp program, we have the privilege of telling stories of people, the events, and the accomplishments that make our country a great nation that it is. It also allows us the opportunity to celebrate Canada's diversity and inclusiveness. And we're very proud to be here tonight to recognize one of our own, letter carrier Albert Jackson, the first Black letter carrier in Canada. Jackson overcame racism and broke barriers as he pursued a career with Canada Post in the post office in Toronto, Ontario. Thankfully, Albert wasn't the kind of man to take no for an answer, right? His perseverance helped to open the Postal Service to more Black Canadians. And his courage laid the foundation for the diverse workforce as we have Canada Post today. Just to let you know, we have over 60,000 people in Canada Post from all walks of life. Creating a stamp to honor Jackson's determination was important, and we worked hard to get it right. Curators at the Toronto's first post office and the Canadian Museum of History helped us find out where he worked. They told us about the route he walked, the uniform he fought so hard to wear. We worked closely with Albert Jackson's family members, who include his great-great-grandchildren, to learn more about his life. And just to let you know, a couple of them still work at Canada Post. That's history, right? Mm-hmm. We also asked Philatellus to tell us to understand more about the mail from Jackson's era so that we could make sure that key elements of the stamp design you're about to see were completely authentic. I apologize for you guys up there. Let me look up a bit more too, right? Good. I think you'll agree when you see the stamp and the artwork that was created by the stamp designer, Andrew Perot, and illustrator Ron Dahlkamp, really conveys the essence of the man who proudly worked for Canada Post for 36 years. 36 years. Ron, the illustrator, also even walked Jackson's letter carrier route to get a sense of his everyday routine and the feel for the neighborhood he served. The result is an image of Albert Jackson along his route where he could be found every day doing his job. He looked ready to hand you mail. With this stamp, we thank Albert Jackson for his 36 years of service, and we honor him for his bravery and determination to fulfill the dream of being a letter carrier despite the challenges that stood in his way. And now it's time, drum roll please. Yeah, I love that. Now it's time to unveil the stamp. Mayor Stewart, please join me. Are you ready? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Maurice, for being here to unveil this beautiful stamp, and to Canada Post for continuing to commemorate important people and moments in Black history. Thank you, Mayor Stewart. Both of you can, well, you're already at your seat, sorry. Okay, Crystal, your turn.
What a night. Well, this brings us to the end of our formal ceremony. And as we wrap up, I want to thank you all for coming to celebrate. This is a poignant time in Vancouver for the Black community. And again, we've all been given a charge. There's always a charge. So walk away knowing there's something for you to do, and we're waiting, and we're grateful. Everyone is invited to the reception that is downstairs on the main floor. We're going to enjoy some delicious food by a new vendor, Kula, specializing in Afro vegan food, quite delicious, inspired by Kenyan history. Yeah. It's an important thing every year that we try to highlight. Why am I talking over clapping? Let me let y'all. It's important every year that as we select the caterer that we try to highlight yet another Black business that is thriving and trying to be known and, I guess, proliferate in popularity amongst Vancouver. So I believe they also have a food truck. So that's my understanding, but we'll ask them for sure. And, of course, we'll have our commemorative stamp cupcakes, as we always do. So delicious. And we, this year, have a DJ downstairs, the legendary George Barrett. He'll be playing for us. So now the dance party, And also as a special feature this year, because the release of the Viola Desmond $10 bill, we'd like to thank the Bank of Canada. They'll be here exchanging money.
I think I want to put some emphasis. I want to put some emphasis on the $10 Canada bill. And I think you need to listen carefully. The cupcakes are complimentary. The stamps are complimentary. However, the $10 bill, the $10 bill, there's a special emphasis on the word exchange, which means you give them your old $10 bill, and they will give you a new one with Viola Desmond on it. So just be reminded, don't be surprised.
So let's give a round of applause and appreciation to everyone who was a part of this celebration tonight. We look forward to seeing you at other Black History events and next year. Thank you. Live to see another day.